Okay, I'm muted. Thank you, Linda. Uh, that was a bit of a stupid one, but hopefully, can you hear me now? Brilliant. You can hear me now, so brilliant. Okay. Okay, well, first of all, thanks to everyone for coming. I just want to check one or two things because, again, it's something I'm not used of. Sorry, I'm just letting more in via the lobby, which means they're coming in via links, which is brilliant. I had over 130 signups between LinkedIn and between the Teams invite itself, which really shocked me. So I'm very grateful for everyone to be here. And some of you might remember me from online marketing in Galway, which started in 2011. And then unfortunately, it just started to get a little bit inactive coming into 2018 and 19. I got busier with my main jobs, and the rest of the rest of the volunteers as well. Everyone, thankfully, in a good way, was getting busier. So I just want to know, so first of all, as well, can you see me on the screen and is my background showing the right way? Because I have the mirrored version and that always confuses the hell out of me. So again, I'm just getting used of Teams. Yeah, okay. Thanks, Linda. I'll have to give you some money after this for all the help. Okay, so I'm still letting people in via the lobby, but I am going to start soon. Um, Again, I'm absolutely just, it's amazing to see so many people here. I was a bit worried about Microsoft webinars, to be perfectly honest, but because I'm kind of starting a new business, I'm trying to keep my tech stack as tight as possible. And obviously, I have my Microsoft business license, which includes Microsoft webinars. A couple of years ago, it wouldn't have been known as the best, but I believe they've gotten a lot better. But I appreciate any feedback. So please don't hesitate to kind of say it to me afterwards. Listen, it wasn't very clear here, there, or um, it, or in other places. Some things would just be my mistakes and how I'm running things. So please forgive me because this is my first one in a while. I'm going to get started now. So listen, again, I appreciate everyone coming. This will be recorded. I'm going to put it up on the website afterwards, and I'll share it to the mailing list as well. So hopefully, if you didn't see it, you'll get to see it again. And I will just start off by saying this isn't going to be any kind of advanced AI course. This really is at a high level to start with. I'm just getting into workflows and using agents myself and automations, workflows, etc. But this is really at a high level, and I just want to make it as I suppose it's AI for beginners essentially. So some of you will probably might think, okay, this is very standard, but I hope that you take something from it. So I'm just going to get into sharing the presentation now. What I've done, because technology generally, if I was to do live demos in the different tools, in many cases, things go wrong. So I've recorded the live elements in Loom over the last 2 days. I will try go in at the end. I'll turn on the mics for everyone if anyone has a question, and I answer any questions if there's time left at the end. If there's no time left at the end, I have a link, and you can contact me direct. And I also have a link to a file that has all the different prompts and everything that I used for today's presentation. And it's got I'll share that with everyone. It's a Dropbox file that anyone can download everything off. So I just want to make it as practical as possible. And now I am gonna ask maybe trusty Linda or anyone, can you see my slides and just the slide itself, not other things? Or are you still seeing me? You can see the slides, the 5 ways AI can make you more brilliant, okay? And you're not seeing the notes and stuff behind it. Okay, thank you. So brilliant. Again, I apologize for not being, I'm a novice at this tool, so I apologize for that. But it's all about learning. And I'll be honest, I'm a little bit nervous because a lot more has come than expected. 130 signed up, and then I stopped the wait list. I stopped the registration because I heard Microsoft can kind of be funny if you go over 100. But then I noticed later that 1,000 people can sign up on my package. So listen, we'll see how it goes. So I'll get things started anyways. So 5 ways AI can make your marketing more efficient. And listen, this can be used not just for marketing. It's for business owners as well. I meet so many small business owners in Galway and other places. I actually met one yesterday, and I couldn't believe he was the CEO of an amazing company, and he's been doing all the marketing himself for the last 6 to 7 years, and I was very impressed with what he was doing. So even if you're not doing the marketing, some of these things can be used. Like I'll give you another example. I've started an income and expenses a, a spreadsheet because I haven't got any accounting software yet. I think my cousin's on this now. Like she'll kill me because I'm probably not doing it properly. But like one thing I've done is I've set up a Dropbox folder and I put all my invoices in there, and it all automatically calculates and updates my Excel sheet with my income and my expenditures. Not much income yet, but hopefully that will happen. And I just want to let you know these webinars that I do will always be free. Thought leadership is something massive and it's very important in business. So while the marketing department itself, there is a business side to it. These presentations, or if there's any podcasts that will happen or everything, they will be free. And if there's demand for it, we can do something like we did with OMIG and have live events. I've had people have asked to kind of do something similar again, but the landscape has changed a lot. So listen, I'm going to shut up now and get on with this because we're already a good bit into this, and I want to get through it. So again, uh, 5 practical ways to win 5 practical ways to win back hours every week. And I really, since I've started using AI with my work, I've saved so much time, whether it's creating branded slides like the ones you see here today. I would have done these in Claude, and I created basically my brand guidelines between I would have used Canva and I would have used Claude. I'm not saying they're the best slides ever. They can certainly get better. There is a little bit of a situation where a lot of them are looking the same. So I kind of want to make sure I kind of move with the times and don't fall into the trap of having a website and slides and everything that look very similar to everyone else who's using AI. So I will be kind of evolving with time once I get used off the tools. Like another example, and I won't be showing you Lovable today, but I made the new marketing department website 100% through Lovable. Again, there's pros and cons to that. WordPress would have been my trusty tool for a website because you have a CMS system. It can be utilized by really anyone. You don't have to be a developer to use it, but it's the same with Lovable. But you see a lot of things going around on LinkedIn and stuff where they're kind of saying AI, we're building things like websites or apps or whatever, but the foundation isn't the best because we're just kind of we're just keep on stacking features on top of each other, and unlike I suppose a qualified maybe software engineer or a developer, we're not building it properly from the foundation up. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But I believe, there are different tools that you can use to tidy that up and make sure you are getting the foundation in right. And I'm doing a course with Trinity at the moment. We're at a very early stage. But as I go on, I will make sure I will kind of share all that with you guys as I move on, because I'm hoping to have a series every 2 months focused on AI and get deeper into the kind of more automation side of things. So quickly, just who I am. Some of you will know me already, some of you won't. I'm now considered one of the old people in marketing. I'm 18 years. I started off my career in 2008. I did a master's in Smurfit. I then was in an ad agency, Google, and I've been working in Galway since. For both for small businesses and for bigger businesses. So I've kind of done a bit of everything now, but it mainly always was focused around digital. But now marketing is just marketing. I don't think there's digital. I don't think there's marketing. I think, we have to think about it holistically, and it can't just be, offline and online, because if they're not integrated properly, that's a problem. Um, so just that's my background. So again, 18 years. What I'm doing now is the marketing department. So I've been talking to a couple of potential new clients that I might be doing kind of a 20-hour fractional marketing director for them. And then I hopefully will be doing work with Leo and other places during the year as well. So if there's any services like that where you don't need a full-time marketer, and I'm definitely not a consultant. My work is execution. I'm a practitioner. So I'm not, I don't like the word consultant. I don't want to just work somewhere and hand you a report and let you go. I want to actually kind of set things up and do it for you and work there. So essentially that's what the direction I'm moving in. Okay, I had intended to add way more logos to this because the AI tools is really a crowded market, but these are kind of some of the main ones that are used at the moment. There's so many now niche ones as well that, they're good for law, accountancy, whatever area it may be. There's niche ones for marketing. I just signed up for one I'm testing out called Porter, another French one for marketing, and they allow you to use all these tools together, and they are targeted purely at marketing only as well. So like it would be impossible for me to list all the tools on one page, but there is a lot more than I showed there. The ones I'll be going through today are the ones you see here. Just to state that Gemini and Copilot, I've used them I find them very similar, it dependent on whether you're a Gmail, Google user or Microsoft Outlook user. I think kind of that's how maybe you determine which one you use, because Gemini will work very well if you want to use it almost like as a PA, to link into your calendar, your email, to kind of tell you when you're busy today, who you're meeting, how to start off your day. Copilot will do the same. That's just one way they can be used. And in some cases, I've used Claude where ChatGPT could be used, Perplexity where again ChatGPT or Claude can be used. Personally, I'm finding at the moment Claude is doing. If I had to pay for one tool and one tool only, it would be Claude. It's where I'm getting the best value for money. Again, if you're using Fable, is it? Yes, they start to use a lot of credits there, but you can be smart about it. But I'm using Opus a lot and different models there. The second one I would definitely pay for as well is ChatGPT. So you're already talking up to 40 to 50 euros there if you're getting paid for ones. Um, and getting paying for all of these can get quite expensive. So again, I am trying to see which ones I can get the best value from, and I just wanted to point that out. If you're doing social media and posters, um, just one thing you might notice, a lot of like pubs and coffee shops and everything are using ChatGPT. A lot of them are coming out and they're looking very similar. So just be aware of these posters that are coming out that just look very, very similar, and it's very obvious that it's done via ChatGPT. Not that that's a bad thing, but maybe you can give it better prompts or consider using Canva, which will give you more of a kind of a personalized and credible look for your brand as well. Okay, so going on here. Um, so this is going to be like a live case study, and this is here about I made up a fictitious coffee shop. I hope there's not one that's called the same, and if there is, listen, I'm sorry. But it's called The Long Walk, and it's a Galway specialty coffee company. It would be quite small, 3 employees, and they're also looking to launch a corporate coffee. Um, yes, I have changed slides. Are you not seeing slide 7? Sorry. I have changed slides. One moment now. Um, Let me just check the chat. Uh, yeah, you're seeing size 7. Okay, gosh, I thought that, yeah. So the long walk, I'll just point towards it there. Um, can you see it? Is the writing too small, or is it just? Oh no, I have my laptop here actually, and I can see it here. Yeah, the writing isn't the biggest, so I apologize for that. Um, but yeah, I can see the slides there. So again, this is just about a fictitious coffee shop. Forgive me if there is a coffee shop called The Long Walk already. I don't know about it, but the background I made up about it, that it's a specialty coffee shop, 8 employees, but they're also launching a corporate coffee subscription. So if you think of, for example, 3FE in Dublin, and other coffee shops, they make their own coffee, or they make their own coffee, grinded coffee, and bring in roasted the coffee beans, etc. I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert on the coffee business, but I just wanted to pick a small to medium business. Um, and their target is to kind of work up to 10 to 100 staff. So not just to have that physical business, but to bring in an online subscription to that as well. Um, and again, their challenge is they don't have 20 spare hours a week to be doing their marketing, much like that CEO I met yesterday. It's just not feasible for him anymore. He needs to be meeting his top clients, and he needs someone else to help him with that. So the questions are to plan, research, create, the admin, and the reporting side, and they'll be the areas we're going through today. Okay, so just one thing is very important to say. AI shouldn't replace you, and there's a lot of talk these days about companies letting go of people because they're replacing it with AI, and that is happening in a lot of technical companies to a degree. However, I am of the opinion that AI works best when worked with a human. It will give you your time back to spend on the more strategic side of things and the other things you should be spending your time on, and hopefully help you with the mundane tasks, and in time to help you with even more than the mundane tasks. Like once you get into workflows, once you get into uh, agents. Again, I'm going to mention someone else. another cousin, she mentioned she has set up agents, like a CFO, a CMO, and they're all doing different jobs. So the CFO was obviously looking at finance areas. She's only doing it on a very kind of testing scale now, and they've already saved her €90 because they realized she wasn't using a subscription as much as um, she should be. She was on a tier that was too high, for example, from my understanding. Um, so what you can get to with the agents and everything is brilliant. I've ordered myself a thing called My Auto because everyone was going on about buying the Mac Minis and setting up your agents on this. But this My Auto, it's €399, I think, if you Google it, and it's not going to be ready for another 2 months. But it's cheaper than the Mac Mini, and it's also set up already for AI to kind of run all your different AI tools. And I don't have to buy another Mac Mini. So listen, it's just, you have to find what suits you. So again, I mentioned all the areas that we're going to go through, the 5 ways, 5 tools, kind of a mix of 5 tools: planning and strategy, then your research, content and creative, your admin and your time savers, and reporting. So this really is a high level. It's not I haven't got onto the stage yet where I'm showing you much of the like connectors. You can connect your different tools to the AI tools. So like in ChatGPT, I would have like Dropbox connected to it. I would have my emails connected to it. I would have, I'm just looking at it now. I have a number of different plugins connected to it. So Google Drive, Google Calendar, Slack, and I have it automatically kind of coming any updates to my Slack with, for meetings and things like that. So there's a lot you can do, and sometimes that is with the paid for version. But I haven't paid, I on everything I've started with so far, I've started on the bottom tier, so 20 to €25, and you can also use it for free as long as possible. And most of the things I'm going to show you today, they really are in the free kind of area. And again, the golden rule as well with this is just remember, don't treat everything as the end product, because you need to go over this. You've even heard about Claude and everything now putting watermarks on any content produced, meaning if you kind of handed in a cover letter for a job or a report somewhere, there is ways, very obvious ways of them knowing that you did that with an AI tool, even more so because of these watermarks. So there's ways and means about it, but I would always look over the material yourself and take what you need from it and make it your own. But you can also, when you're creating projects, so nearly all these tools have an area you can create projects, and when you can create projects, you can also give it different information. So one handy one handy thing I would have done was when I was creating the marketing department kind of branding, I would have put in there like the tone of voice I wanted. I would have put in our logo, the fonts that we use, everything. So it produced a whole brand guideline for me, which I then added to Canva. And it means that Canva follows a guideline, and um, Canva can follow a guideline, and it just creates that consistency all the time. And if you're not happy with it, you can go back into whatever tool you use to kind of make these brand guidelines. And I'll just even quickly share I can quickly share the page. So, okay, can you see my browser now? And it's Claude that's showing up. So again, this is just the brand guidelines. I knew what fonts I wanted to use. I put in the logo I had designed. I put in the Pantone colors, and you may even have to create these yourself. And maybe you can even use the tool to give you recommendations for what colors and Pantones to be used. But essentially, I came out with like a presentation. The areas I wasn't happy with, I updated. And again, it gave me a branded template, which I'm now using for business cards, flyers, my deck, my website. So I'll just go onto my website quickly there. Um, 1 second. And listen, this website is basic, okay? So but it was done by Lovable. I have a lot more to add from it. But again, it used all the guidelines that I would have created from both Claude and Canva. I have a lot more to do for it. So when you come back on again, no, that's not good where I can't. That's a fault. I shouldn't. It shouldn't be that difficult to go down. But basically, I want to go to webinars, and okay, I can't. So that's something I need to fix. But again, and I need to make it more engaging and better call to actions. And again, you can manage it with Edit by Lovable. I log in. And it's different to a traditional CMS system because you're basically giving it prompts, and you're giving it prompts to kind of say what you want to change. And again, am I confident? Is this the best way to do a website right now? I think for a static website that isn't feature rich, yeah, it's okay. But if I was working with a company that had more features, I would probably look at WordPress, Shopify, whatever it may be, and make sure, we had the features needed for it. Okay, so I'm now going to go back to the slides. Just one moment now. Sorry now. Share. And one moment now. Okay, so just okay. So past that, practical, free-ish, and the reason I say free-ish because yes, there is a free tier you can use on all of these. However, they quickly drag you into the kind of using the minimum tier because you can do a bit more. But definitely start off on the free tiers and the trials and see which ones suit you and which ones don't. To get started, I'm gonna start off with ChatGPT and Claude. So for this particular one, planning and strategy, you could use either. You could even use some of the other ones. I used Claude, but ChatGPT sometimes gives similar results. Again, you're looking at the brief. So like everything, like traditional, anything you're doing traditionally, the brief is always quite important. And you're gonna notice your prompts are very important as well, and you're not going to get it perfect straight away. I'm not getting them anywhere near perfect straight away. I have to kind of, keep on feeding it and changing it a little bit until I kind of get more of what I want. Then you're kind of asking for a plan, and I'll show you the prompt after this that I use. You then refine it further, and in this case, the tool that I used was Claude. Okay, so the prompt I have here, and again, the link I give you at the end will have the presentation. It will have the prompts I used, and it will even have the documents it produced as well. So again, the prompt, I'm going to just read a bit of it. I run the Long Walk Coffee Company, a small independent coffee shop in Galway. Most of our revenue is walk-in trade, average spend 650. We also sell our house roast beans, gift vouchers, and they're looking to kind of move into a subscription-based model as well, as I mentioned, just to make money outside the shop. Their marketing budget is 300 a month. Trust me, I have had dealt with less than 300 a month. So for a small independent coffee shop, that's not too bad. Um, that this you give them as much information as you have. Summer tourist trade is strong, but it falls away in October. Then there's Christmas boxes and Christmas drinks that kind of bring back sales again. Then who does what? Me plus three part-timers. So kind of asking them how they can use the other staff to help with this as well. And I think that's quite important. And if you have this laid out clearly for them, it's not that hard. Again, you watch it being built. You with Claude or any tool you're using, you push back, you update the prompts, and again, you look at it and you go, listen, this isn't the strategy I want. It's my first draft. So you push back and you kind of push for more of what suits you. So now I'm going to go on to the actual prompt itself that I did in Claude. Again, if someone could tell me, can you see that video? Again, I know it's very small, but don't forget I will have all these prompts for you at the end. So you can see that I've put in the prompts. First of all, I recommend always starting off with the project. So I called the project the 90-day marketing plan for the long walk, and that's where you're keeping everything together, and it can essentially, that's the brain of the marketing strategy, the planning that you're creating. So here it is, creating the plan for me. I ended up with a Word document like this. So that's essentially, I'll just move it kind of towards the end because it, you just see it kind of going through. You're not going to be able to read all that information, but you can see how quickly, it comes out with information. And even the first iteration of this, which will be included in the folder that I am sharing, it was pretty decent, the first iteration. And you can go back and you can push it for changes and you go, this is not going to work for my coffee shop. And you keep on updating it until you can. So this is the planning stage, and here I use Claude. Okay, so moving on. Moving on to number 2 is perplexity. And this one is one I have admittedly used less, but I have found it's very good for market research. And I just used the free version, and I was surprised with the information I got with the free version. And this is kind of the planning stage. Uh, Sometimes you can do that before the strategy stage or the marketing strategy stage that I just showed you there in part 1. But that part 1 kind of gives you a bit of an idea of what you can look for in your I suppose what kind of prompt you give it, mapping the competitors, start with the market. Again, us marketers, we like to use a lot of language, but you call it your total addressable market. So essentially that is who are all the customers we can target. Obviously they'd have to, if for the shop itself, they'd have to live in Galway or be on vacation in Galway. For the online shop though, however, it's more of an open market. You're selling subscriptions. You have to build up a credibility and a name for yourself. And this is where you can look at the competitors. I always say look at least 2 to 3 competitors, even 4. Benchmark yourself against them. Look at their social media. Look at what's getting engagement and what isn't getting engagement. Shape a strategy from that. And then put in, I suppose the smartest prompt you can, or the best prompt you can into Perplexity. And I'll just show you after this. It wasn't exactly, a long prompt. It was actually very short. So this is the prompt here. And again, you can see this in more detail afterwards if you want to look at it. But here again, it was just research the corporate coffee subscription market in Ireland, because this essentially is the main part of this research is the additional subscription side. They've done a good bit on the store itself, the business, how it operates. Now they want to kind of grow the business and scale the business, and now they want to research how they can do more with the subscription-based model. Starting off with prioritizing the Irish market, but who knows, they can go beyond that as well. Unfortunately, with a few European laws changing and packaging, there's a smaller cost incurred. But there still could be good reason and good demand for you to kind of look into that as well. Look at the sources first. I think that's really important. So when you're using these tools, they will show the sources. And if they don't show them clearly, you can ask back, show me the sources. And a lot of people don't realize, and it's changing all the time. So I had to change this presentation about 5 times. A lot of the AI tools, Claude, ChatGPT, the top sources they were pulling from anyway were Reddit, YouTube, Quora, and different places like that, and like G2 Crowd, a lot of review sites. So find out where, and again for the niche markets, that they're probably going into niche kind of community sites. So if it's a coffee shop, it might be more about food. So they looking at oh, for the life of me, it's gone out of my head, but that review site for food and recommendations, etc. This is really important to you have your search engine optimization where you always wanted backlinks. Now you're looking at AEO, AIO, all these different new terminology, and what you want with this is to get people talking about you in a positive way in these community areas. And I'm going into a bit more detail there than needed for this Perplexity example, but I just wanted to highlight that because I think this is important. Again, this is just a quick overview of, how do I turn that off, of Perplexity in use. Again, I pasted in the prompt that I have on the previous page. And again, it quickly populated a document for me, and the information itself was pretty credible. And don't forget, all the time you can add more information to that project to say, please don't do things this way, please do things this way. Our coffee shop will never do the X, Y, and Z. So you're kind of educating them on the parameters of what suits your research. But again, for using the free model, I was somewhat impressed with the document I was produced with. And again, I'll have these in the end. It had tables and everything. You can see the tables starting there. Again, don't forget, this is the first layer, and it gets better as you go along, and you can there will be juicy bits in that where I think that's where you need to dig deeper. So you're gathering all these different pieces of information from different sources for different reasons. One with planning, the other one marketing strategy. Perplexity, again, is kind of most known for research. So kind of just have an idea, and everyone is different about what they prefer. So now we're going on to the third one, and Canva. And I think anyone that works in a company that's dealing with the social media marketing will probably have a Canva account Or if you're a pub or a restaurant, I'm finding a lot of people are using ChatGPT. And again, I just my own little warning on that is just make sure you're not coming out with those posters that just they look very similar to all the other ChatGPT posters because people's eyes will just avert to them and they won't kind of realize. Let me just check, is there any questions there that I'm not? Okay, no, it's all good. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. And okay. Okay, so again, this is Canva. And again, if you're in marketing and you're working on social media presence, the different artwork needed for social media, the different tools needed, even creating your logo, your brand kit for the very first time, Canva is a great place to start. Now, I will say I'm not going to pretend I think their Magic Write or their Canva A tool is brilliant yet. I done some on Claude for design that came out better than Canva. But it's getting better and better all the time. I'll just quickly change my screen over to my own thing, and I'll just show you here. Oh, 1 second. This is my Canva. I have a brand template in here for the long walk. So the logos, it produced a number of different logos for me, but this is one that I produced. I'm not saying that's amazing. This was done in 5 minutes, and it's just as an example. But I like the way it kind of showed the little house, the houses that are that picture that we all know. Um, then I go back into brand again. Um, and I look at components, and there should be a lot more pictures in that. I'm not too sure why it's showing that just the one. But I've created a lot. I created about 7 icons there. I'm not too sure why they're not showing. Second now. Um, if they don't show next minute, I will go past it. But basically, I created uh, some components that would go along and could be used for social media. And one thing that I think would be good to show, 1 second, all assets. Again, I'm not going to waste time on this because I can't see all. I created about 7 different components, like a coffee, um, a, li a little coffee. Um, yeah, okay, so I'm not going to waste any more time on that because it's just not showing me what I want. So there was that as one. There was one of like a coffee cup, just a few different ones that you could use for different materials. And I'm just going to click onto just one of these as well. I'm going to open it in editor. Again, this is a trick that it's not a trick, it's just part of Canva and what it does. But it's one thing to show you. So you create your normal acid, your core acids in there. If you open that up and you can create it by social media site. So say if you want to use it as part of a Instagram, let me say an Instagram post, you say copy and resize. So that will copy and resize to the precise measurements you need for that type of Instagram post. And then you just, I suppose, you move everything around to make sure, for example, it matches everything that's in it. Again, you could have something to say, so you can add text, add text. I'm just going to say X, Y, Z. None of this is nice and pretty. I'm just giving you an example of the different things that can be done. But that resize is very good because it can help you make leaflets, presentations, and everything can and match your brand. size there as well. So now I'm going to go back to the slides, and forgive me again, back to the slides. And I'm aware of the time, so I'm going to start moving a little bit faster. So we've got, so again, set up your own brand kit. I think that's one of your first things you need to do in Canva. I will say, try out Claude. You'll be surprised what you get from it. But maybe your logo start off with in Canva and then put that into Claude, and ask it to match the Pantones. Find the fonts that you believe are suitable, and there's different reasons why different fonts are used as well. Sometimes you have to think, if you want to keep your fonts, the similar to the font on your website, you have to think of accessibility as well. Like, there's people with dyslexia that or people whose eyesight isn't that good, and there's some fonts that work better than others. Google fonts are very good because they're free and they also load very fast. So consider looking at them. You can download them, you can add them to the fonts folder on your Mac, or if you have Windows, into a similar library. And just to think about those different areas. So once you have your kind of core logo, your core colors picked out, your fonts, then you start creating the assets, so your logos, what you need for social media. Then it could go on to, if you're a business like B2B or even B2C, you can create a whole presentation. I'm going to be honest, I found Claude the best for doing that. It was what I use for these slides here. Again, I know it's coming. They're all looking a bit too similar to other slides at the moment, so I'm going to work on that and change that better. But in that resize area in Canva, you can resize to almost anything. Custom size, printing leaflets, presentations, videos, even assets for websites. Okay, so Canva is a pretty good tool if you're not an expert on Photoshop. And actually, Canva have their own version called Amplify or something like that. It's very similar to Photoshop. I'm not saying the name right, but if you wanted to use a more technical version of Canva, that is now free if you have a Canva license, so you can try that out. And forgive me for saying the name wrong, but it's Amplify or something like that, so you can check that out. Again, Canva, different assets that you can use, posts. Again, I'm seeing it very small on the computer, and my eyes are getting so. So posts, Instagram, just the plain square for the post page, emails. So if you're using MailChimp or anything like that, the header, then A4 flyers, a deck, whatever it may be. But Canva is really one of the better tools out there if you don't have a professional designer to hand. And what I've even done before is asked a professional designer to set up the initial templates for me, if it was for kind of a really high level, kind of needed a real slick looking design. And from there, I would have utilized their templates and resized them for what I needed, or adjust them for what I needed. So I think there's a lot you can do there. Again, there is a free element, but like most of them, they do eventually bring you on. Oh, these are the designs I did. So I'll just quickly show you there. Second. So this is just one of the where I expanded upon the logo that we did, and I wanted to create other visuals that could be used and used in leaflets, etc. These were some of the other logos they showed me at first. I ended up just picking that one. again, I'm not saying that it's the best, but again, I wasn't putting in a huge amount of time into this because it was just for a demo. Um, but I also created these that could be used for icons or used as they are or used in leaflets as part of the overall design. And again, that's just the main logo to go with it. So I'm going to move on now again to the fourth point, and getting the busy work off your desk by lunch. Now, the obvious tools to use generally would be Gemini and Copilot because, and the reason I say that is because Gemini obviously works very well with Gmail, Gmail Calendar, all the Google tools. If you want to have a summary of your day, capture meetings, they can tell you what your priority list is to do. Copilot, the very same. Before this particular one, I used ChatGPT because I wanted to more focus on emails that can be used and sent out for mass mail. So emails that can be put into campaigns and used in automation tools, whether you have HubSpot, you have Salesforce, again, very expensive tools. So starting off with something like MailChimp or another email tool. But again, just to show you what you can do with that. Information, aside from the email itself, but you can kind of give them an idea of, you can set up a workflow that will kind of tell you, you have 17 unread emails, you have it's 43 minutes of team meetings, 6 pages of notes to go through, proposals due, follow-up needed, and you can set up a system that really shows you what areas need to be prioritized over others. So you can summarize, extract what you need from that, and teach it what is the areas that need to be prioritized. And again, Gemini and Copilot are the obvious ones to use if you're using that ecosystem. However, ChatGPT is just another tool that I use in a different way for things like this too, because ChatGPT have connectors in it for Gmail Calendar, for Slack. And I find it actually can even do more. And I just find ChatGPT gives you a lot more information. So I see there's 5 minutes left in this presentation. So again, I'm just going to quickly kind of go through these bits. Um, Again, there's nothing too shocking in this video. I have the prompt in there. I put in some kind of raw data that I have, basically kind of made up data, and it would have produced a kind of a priority document for me. And again, it would have produced an email for me as well that I can, so essentially part of the notes and the prompt had a very kind of rough instruction in what I wanted to say in the email. And there, what it did is it presented a much easier email, which you would be able to see in this document, um, and more professional. And it also, what's handy is it puts in like the name brackets in there, so it's ready for tools like MailChimp and different things like that. And then underneath it, I have the kind of the action list, what to prioritize, etc. So I'm going to go on to the very last point now, which is it's number 5, and this is one I just think is really good. Uh, in almost every business, and marketing is full of it, and sometimes some of it isn't necessary. I think sometimes we do reports because we need something to show the CEO or show the boss, but I always do my best to set expectations that we need to make reports that will make a meaningful difference, and we can't just focus on um, data that is not meaningful. Let me just check if everything's okay. Yeah. So data is not meaningful. So here, in this particular case, I'm talking about exporting from raw materials. However, with both Gemini and Copilot and ChatGPT and a lot more of them, you can connect in tools like the Looker Studio, which is now owned by Google for the last 5 or 6 years. So it can bring in your Google Analytic results. You can even create pages where it brings in your social media results. You can bring in kind of all your data from your website, your social media, your organic, all the channels essentially, that can be automated. And it can then be brought into this. For this particular demo, I'm just saying at the start, if you're just currently kind of using a more manual system, you can export this raw data into Gemini, Copilot, ChatGPT, Claude, and again you can um, paste in the results. You can benchmark them against competitors, ask for the next steps, ask for the next priorities. Again, if you're not getting answers that are sensible, you can, push the prompts to change again. Again, the reporting itself makes it helps tell the story better, and it just brings a report together for you a lot quicker that you can show to the main stakeholders. And yourself are more than likely one of the main stakeholders, so it needs to be important to you. Um, when you're working as kind of a senior marketeer and you're reporting into a CEO, often their biggest care is, how much we're spending, how many leads are we getting from it, and how many sales. It boils down to that. A lot of them don't want vanity metrics. They don't want to know about traffic numbers. They don't want to know about other things. So you can really, really make sure you bring out the priority data. If you're showing it to a layer of people underneath the CEO who needs to know kind of more of the trends and what's working in terms of engagement or not, you can then kind of include the more detailed information that will kind of go into the strategy and show the engagement and what's working and what isn't. Um, this is another prompt again to put into Copilot or Gemini. Again, my week in marketing admin, because you have it connected to your inbox, your calendar. Hopefully, like meetings like this, all of the webinar tools now have, I think most of them are free for transcribing meetings, recording them. So you can get a summary from each of these meetings, what happened, what are the main deliverables, and what needs to be done for the next 7 days. And again, it's just a brilliant way of making sure you catch all the information in the meeting from everyone, and that you're taking out the most important things, and that you're prioritizing the most important things there. So again, this is Gemini, um, and it's the long walk coffee shop. And again, I just pasted in that live prompt, my week in marketing admin. And this would be something, it could be any level of a marketer. They need to produce to the owner, the CEO, whoever it may be, or in some cases, as we know, the CEO or the owner themselves need to do this. But again, maybe doing it weekly is a bit OTT. It just depends how, if it's just a new strategy, you do need to keep an eye on it, more often than not. But as you get into a rhythm and things get better, you can do it on a monthly basis or every 2 months. And then every quarter, you can do a deeper level of analysis and reporting. And again, just make sure that the stakeholders are getting what they need from it. So again, there's another example of what was produced from this. Um, And I have these included in the link that's shared at the end of this presentation. They're just templates, raw templates. If you don't have an automated system yet, because even Looker and other reporting systems, there are some free versions, but they don't do everything that you want. So these are just some operational or weekly performance summaries that you can collect manually. um, well, you can even kind of plug in your Google Analytics, your AdWords, etc., to them to make it a bit faster. But some having the more automated ones can be quite expensive at the start. So again, just to finish off, these are the 5 tools that we went through today. In the cases where I have more than one mentioned, the first one was the one that was used. If there's a second or third one there, they're alternatives that can be used. I think it's pretty obvious. I'm a big fan of Claude. So these are just different ways they can be used. The one rule I say is start for free, and then if it's coasting you into kind of upgrading, feel free to upgrade. But think about the price, and if it's not working and you're not getting everything you need from it, stop it. The person I mentioned earlier on who had a CFO agent set up, and we'll get to that workflow again. They could see that she wasn't using her tier to the full potential, so they recommended she move back down. So we can get smart like that. So this presentation has a link to all these demo materials. And what I say is start small, start this week, pick one task, give it to a tool, pick what you think is your kind of maybe all-in-one tool at first. Mine, I'm very biased. I'm gonna pick Claude. Second to that, ChatGPT. If you're doing design, Canva. I don't find Copilot and Gemini absolutely amazing, but they're good if you're using it with the ecosystem of Microsoft or Google. Um, so the next step, and when I go on to the next one, it will be more about using workflows and agents. So it will kind of get to a uh, more automated setup where these results will be coming in automatically. And I know we're running over time now, but if there's any questions, obviously we're over time, but if you want any questions, write them down or send me my email, send direct to my email, which I'm just going to type in now. I put it into somewhere else, marketing department .ie. I'll do my best to get back to these questions. If I can, I'll use AI to help me, I won't lie. Um, and again, if you're a business and you are ready to start, and potentially you were looking for someone to help out with this, I'm doing free consultations, 30 minutes long. You can tell me about your business. There's no obligation. I can tell you how I could approach things if it goes on to the next stage. Again, I can do a proposal. I'm not. I'm looking for fractional roles. Thankfully, I've been speaking to some really good companies, and I've already kind of officially agreed to one good start with a well-known organization and potentially a second one soon. So if that works out, 20 hours of my week will be gone every week. But I'll be there, and would approach this very technical, not technical, sorry, very practically, and it won't be, sorry, and I actually say 30-minute consultation, but that's just a phone call. I am not a consultant. I do not want to be a consultant. I do not want to do work that just leaves you with a report and lets you do what you need to do. Um, I see my role in this type of business as a practitioner as well. probably spending 10 to 20% of the time doing the research and the benchmarking needed to find out what is working and what isn't, helping set up processes, and if needed, going further than that. I see one or two people are typing. Again, this will be saved. I'll put it up on the website. I'll also share it in an email. Thank you for one or two people writing some feedback there. Um, Feel free to send me feedback, good, bad, or indifferent. It was at a much higher level, but hopefully you'll even find that this link will bring you straight to my website. And again, the link further back here on slide 29 will bring you to the link to all the materials and the prompts and even the documents that were created for each. So yes, everyone, I hope that helped. And yeah, if there is any questions, let me know. I'm sure there's people logging off now, but I'm so happy that so many of you joined. And it was over 130 sign-ups. The show up was pretty good as well. Yeah, thank you. Really, I'm so grateful. I'm grateful to be back on the Galway scene again. I want to meet more of you people. I want to learn off the younger people now, because unfortunately I'm at the older stage. And I think it's important that we learn from each other as well. So yes, thank you very much. And I'll just leave that slide there. And yes, thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. And we're 10 minutes over. Next time I'll try to be better on that. There was a lot to kind of show in one area. I think I kind of was a bit ambitious. But again, thank you so much. And I'll let you slowly log off. But again, if there's any questions, just let me know. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. I think that's nearly everyone gone now. See a few people there. Uh, yeah. Make sure you join my LinkedIn page and on Instagram as well. And I will be aiming to put up more thought leadership material there. And also, please feel free to tell me what you would like to see in the next presentation as well. That will help. Thanks a million, guys. Okay, I'm going to end it now. Thank you.